All right, guys, welcome. Today for ELA, it's going to be really quick. We are just going to quickly go over the things that we're going to learn today, and then you're just going to get to listen to the story. So let's start off. Lesson 11, Module 6. So we've been reading about nature's wonders and the wonders of the earth. Today, we're going to learn about one that probably a lot of you have been to, but let's figure it out. So to start off, we need to know some critical vocab. Shatter. If you were to shatter something, it would explode or break into tiny pieces. A glass vase will shatter if you drop it. Yes, this is true. Also, you could think the tail of the Prince Rupert's drop shatters when it's irritated. Next, sentries. Sentries are guards or lookouts who stand in a place to keep watch. Definitely. Next is a chasm. A chasm is a deep crack or opening in the ground. Hikers have to be careful not to fall into a chasm. Yes, don't fall into a chasm. That would be bad. Glistens. If something glistens, it sparkles or shines. Oh my, you just look glistening today. Oh, you're just glistening. Embedded. If something's embedded, it's firmly set into something else that surrounds it. So this has like in terms of rocks, yes, things can get embedded in stuff. But there's also like ways to embed things inside of web pages. So you can use that word there too. And lastly, eroding. All of you should know what eroding is. We talked about it when we were talking about geology of Utah and geography of Utah. If it's eroding, it's slowly being wearing away. It's slowly being taken away, often from wind or water. Sure, I accept that. Now, typically, guys, we would move on and I'd have you guys all get to come up to the board and it would be so much fun. But today, unfortunately, we can't do that. So we're going to talk prefixes here. The prefix re, un, and dis. Luckily, prefixes are super easy. I just want you to know that re sits in the front of the word just like any other prefix, as does un and dis. There is nothing super special about these. They are prefixes. Watch for them. They generally all sound the same, no matter what word they're on. So retell and readmit both start with re. So moving on. Today, you're going to be making some inferences. Now, if you don't remember what an inference is, that's okay. You can start to listen to this video right here. However, it doesn't, without a login, probably won't work for you. But I promise we'll watch it when you get back sometime. It's actually really funny. So, to make inferences, you're basically taking your best guess. You're taking knowledge that you already know, or things that you've learned, or things that you can see or assume, and you're taking the best guess as to what's going to happen. Okay? If I throw this keyboard across the room, one inference you could make is that maybe I was mad at my keyboard, or maybe something over there is going to get hurt. That's a possibility. So that is inferences. Now, I'm going to have you move on to the book. Thanks, guys.
Grand Canyon, a trail through time. A pre-dawn storm rumbles over the Grand Canyon National Park. Cracks of lightning shatter the dark sky, flashing above an enormous plateau of peaks, valleys, and trenches where ancient mountains once stood. The deepest trench is called the Grand Canyon, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Dawn comes, bringing daylight to spires and buttes standing like sentries on the plateau, worn down by weathering and erosion. Coyotes teach their pups to hunt for food in thick forests along the edges of the canyon. Thousands of visitors from all over the world have come to view the splendor of the Grand Canyon. In campgrounds and lodges near the north and south rims, they prepare for the day's activities. The morning sun climbs over distant mountains, revealing cliffs hanging over the Colorado River at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The river took almost 6 million years to carve the canyon, creating a channel about 1 mile deep and more than 275 miles long. Wind and water wore down its steep sides, widening the chasm between the cliffs. A raven guides across the opening, making lazy circles over the river far below. The sun chases away shadows on the craggy rocks thousands of feet below the rims. Pack mules begin a 5-hour trip down to the deepest part of the canyon. They follow each other along a twisted 10-mile trail to the riverbed. Clouds of dust follow them as voices from the top fade away. Canyon visitors along the trail peer with curiosity at symbols of people and animals that were painted on a boulder by the Havasupai Indians long ago. Havasupai still live in the canyon today, tending to their flocks and farms in the summertime and hunting small game and gathering nuts and berries in the winter months. As the sun sets higher in the sky, smaller side canyons with rocks layered like multicolored ribbons come into view. Bighorn sheep walk easily along the steep walls of the canyon, looking for food in hidden pockets of soil. Wildflowers stand around them in patches of purple and pink. The mules continue down the trail to the inner gorge. They carry their riders past layers of rock that display millions of years of the Earth's geologic history. A canyon wren looks for bits of brush to line its nest, hidden in a rocky crevice just off the trail. It searches for twigs and grasses up and down the canyon walls, flying past fossils of fish teeth and seashells. The noonday sun glistens on a hidden creek near a granary built into the canyon wall by the Anasazi Indians almost 1,000 years ago. Squirrels chase through the now empty granary where crops and plants had been stored for food and trade. A lizard scurries off the trail. It climbs over fossils of prehistoric trilobites embedded in layers of shale millions of years ago when the land was covered by a primeval sea. After the mules pass, the lizard creeps out from its hiding place to soak up the warmth of the sun. The afternoon sun hangs low in the sky. A white-breasted nuthatch flies above a beaver-tail cacti along the rocky banks of the Colorado River. Its song drifts over ancient pink, white, and gray rocks at the river's edge, the roots of mountains that stood there almost 2 billion years ago. The water trembles over cascading rapids while trout search for quieter streams in which to spawn. A ringtail cat drinks from a slower side stream, watching for predators up and down the red rocks and along the river nearby. Laughter echoes from a bunkhouse as weary riders and hikers share stories of their descent into the canyon. The endless cycles of eroding rock and moving water carved the Grand Canyon millions of years ago. Blustering wind and pounding rain continue to widen it, grinding down rocks that used to be mountains and volcanoes. The rushing Colorado River deepens this natural wonder, dragging rocks and mud along its path through the ancient plains and lava flows. The mules rest for the night in a corral near the river, awaiting tomorrow's 7-hour trip back up to the top. Weather and erosion make tiny changes every day in the rock walls along the trail. Millions of years into the future, the same forces of nature will continue to reshape the Grand Canyon, digging even deeper into the history of our planet.